Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you the most OP level 20 Jaheira build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. We can actually do some really cool things with level 20, and I have a perfect split to make the most out of her as a land druid. So we'll be starting off as a land druid. This also gives us a choice in cantrips here. We're going to go with the Shillelagh or Shillelagh, as well as Thorn Whip for pulling enemies closer to us. If you have Mistress spells download, you can go with some of the other options, but I'm just going to keep with those two there. Our ability score, 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, 10 intelligence, 16 wisdom, and 10 charisma. We're going to be focusing on the land druid, and we can also add in the Tempest cleric, as they actually have a lot of synergy at level 20 from my testing, and it's a whole lot of fun to play with. So I'll show you how to get the most out of that in this video. So I guess into level 2 here, we get ourselves a choice in spells and our subclass. So we're going to go with the Circle of the Land. This is a class for the base game, and it fits perfectly with Jaheira. It's a spell casting druid, but it also has the ability to wild shape if you get into a rough spot. But we get all the wild shape charges, and we get natural recovery, which gives us the ability to replenish an expended spell slot outside of combat. We also get a choice in another cantrip here, and you can go with like guidance or something like that. If you have Mistress spells, then Frostbite's a good choice. But for the prepared spells, I think that the best choices are going with Healing Word, Thunder Wave for the pushback, because you can actually take out some enemies really easily this way. Ice Knife, if you get silence, you can still cast that. We want to have Creator Destroy Water. This is a major spell for us. And then we can also go with something like Long Strider there. Fog Cloud is also nice too, because you can hide out in that early game. Now, once we get ourselves a level 3, we get some more powerful spells, and we get to choose our circles. So there's a few good ones. I really like the Circle of the Arctic here, because this gives us Hold Person and Spike Growth. There's a few other ones. Some of them will give you unique spells, but I think for the most part, like the Darkness and Elf's Acid Arrow can be nice, and even the Underdark from Misty Step and Web can be pretty useful. You do get some of these spells like from these other circles here, so you can see we get ourselves Hold Person and Spike Growth, whereas we don't normally get ourselves Darkness and Misty Step. So these two can actually be really good too if you want to go with that for the Darkness, or even just Underdark for that free Misty Step. So that's what I guess we'll go with, and then we'll take ourselves Hold Person. And Spike Growth is a really great crowd control till we get to level 7, then we can swap out and take something a little bit different. Spike Growth just makes great difficult terrain. So once we get to level 4, we get ourselves another cantrip here, so we can go with Produce Flame. And then we get to choose another spell, which we can add back our Long Strider at this point. Now there's some other good spells we can go with, but level 4 gives us a feat as well, where we can take up our wisdom here to 18 for better spell castings, better spell save DC, and just the best choice for us. At level 5, we get ourselves the increased extra attack in wild shape form, and we get to choose another Circle of the Land. So Sleet Storm and Haste is actually really good. We can also get the Call Lightning and Plant Growth here from the forest, but those are two spells that we can also just naturally select. Sleet Storm is just really effective, but you normally can't get haste, and Sleet Storm's not a bad one to have, so we can go with the Arctic Circle there. We also get to prepare 2 more spells, so this gives us like Plant Growth or Freedom of the... If you got Mistress spells, this is Call Lightning and just has a weird different icon for some reason. But I think that if you got Mistress spells, Tidal Wave is the best bet here. This can create water, so it's essentially like taking the Create Water spell and adding damage to it and knocking enemies prone, and it does bludgeoning damage, but it does require a level 3 spell slot. But it is very strong, so we're going to roll with that. I highly recommend Mistress spells, is perfect. Now, level 6, we get the Land Stride. No longer affected by difficult terrain. And we also get ourselves the Wild Shape Panther and the Owl Bear transformations, which are 2 really good ones. We can also take another spell here, so we'll go with our Plant Growth, as that's a really nice crowd control option. Does not require concentration. At level 7, this is a big power spike. We also get ourselves different choices in spells. So we can go with the Conjure Minor Elementals and Ice Storm there. The minor elementals are very effective to have, and then we can take ourselves the Woodland Being here. There's a few other choices, like you could go with one of the other ones here, like for Blight, if you really want to Blight. Not the most powerful spell in the game. This will also give us Grasping Vine, but I like just having the free version of Ice Storm there and without having to take it. We can also go with like Confusion for spells too. Wall of Fire is another not bad spell, but once we get to level 9, that's where we really get our biggest feat. So next level, we can go with our Grasping Vine, or we can go with Confusion there. And we get to take another feat, which I would recommend just maxing out your Wisdom score there. Just the best choice. And our final level in the Druid gives us the Arctic here, which gives us Cone of Cold. This is a very powerful spell, and this is the only way to get it as a Druid, so we're going to take that. We also get Contagion, but Cone of Cold is just our best spell choice here. We also get ourselves a max level Conjure Elemental. That's huge because you can't get it from the cleric spell list. You can also get the Conjure Draconic Spirit if you have Mistress spells. That's also a really nice option. Or Insect Plague, but we can also get Insect Plague from taking the Cleric. So I'll go with the Summon Draconic Spirit from Mistress spells. And then at level 10, this is where we Wild Shape. Or where we multi-class. Because this doesn't really, Nature's Ward doesn't really give us a big benefit. You can get the Dilophosaurus transformation and improved extra attacks. I actually think that going with the Cleric is better by a lot. So we get to choose some cantrips here, so you can just go with the regular old ones, or you can take Toll the Dead if you wanted to. And we're going to go with the Tempest Domain. This gives us a reaction to do lightning and thunder damage, and it also gives us the Thunder Wave spell, which we already have, and the Fog Cloud, which we don't have. And we get to a few spell selections here, so we can take Create. I don't know why it's not giving us Create or Destroy Water. We can also get Command, Bless, Healing Word, Sanctuary. Those are some really good choices there. Now, what's best about this is we get the Destructive Wrath, which allows us to use our Channel Divinity to maximize lightning damage. Let's get Turn Undead here. And now for our next leveled spell, we already got, like, there's not too many great spell selections here from the Cleric. We already got a lot of the stuff that we want. And at level, that's one of the biggest difficulties with level 20 builds, is you already get most of the spells that you want. We already have Hold Person, we're just going to take it there, just because sometimes it does cause issues with the spells, it'll unselect them. But that's one that you definitely want. At level 4 Cleric, we get another cantrip. You can take the Toll the Dead spell there if you'd like. And then we can also go with, it's randomizing my spell selection, it's kind of weird. Blindness, I guess, or Aid, a couple spells to go with. Now, once we make it to this level, Alert for the +5 initiative works really well. And we can also go with and increase our dexterity, because it's going to increase our overall armor class, which is really nice. At level 5 here, we get our Turn Undead, which does radiant damage to the targets. And we also get ourselves Sleet Storm, which we already have, Call Lightning, Discordant Melody, and Thunderstep. We have Mistress spells downloaded. And with this, we also get ourselves like the Glyph of Warding, we get Spirit Guardians, and we also got Revivify, Create an Animated Dead, Mass Healing Word. So we can take out some of the previous spells that we aren't using as much and put on those ones there. Now we have the ability to set up water and deal a bunch of damage with it. We also get the Thunderbolt Strike. Whenever we do lightning or thunder damage, we can push back on it, which is nice. Guess we'll take Spirit Shroud there for the additional damage that we can apply to ourselves. At level 7, we get Ice Storm and Freedom Movement and Storm Sphere. And the big benefit of this is we get ourselves Guardian of Faith, which is really nice just to set up and protect us with. At level 8, we get the Divine Strike Thunder, dealing additional thunder damage. You can put on a hand crossbow and trigger that damage too. So it's a pretty nice option. But we also get ourselves a choice in spell here. So Banishment, I guess. And for the feat, we'll go with another increase to our dexterity for better armor class and an initiative, better survivability. At level 9, we get Insect Plague, and we get ourselves, this should be the Thunder Wave attack. I don't know why it's Desiccating Pulse. There's a mod that I have that's causing an issue there, but we also get ourselves some higher level spells, which are really nice. So we can take ourselves like Flame Strike, just fire and radiant damage. Also, you get Holy Weapon or Planar Binding. Those are kind of fun too. You can roll with those. But once we get ourselves to level 11, that's where the big power spike comes in. Level 10, we get the Divine Intervention, Invoke Your God's Aid. It can be pretty nice. And then with this, we also get ourselves another choice in spell. I guess we can go back and take Banishment there. And then for the final level, this is where it all comes together, because we get ourselves, I guess, level 7 spells. But we get one of the best spells in the game with Planar Ally. So with Planar Ally, this is a free summon that we can bring in. You got a Genie, you got a Cambion, and a Diva. I recommend the Genie because the pushback it has is crazy. You also get the Heal spell and Blade Barrier, so we can go with that set up for spells there. Now, this is a caster class that's focused on doing cold and lightning damage. So you see, we got a huge amount of spells here. We also got ourselves a Divine Intervention if you need it. And we also got Wild Shape if you need it. Now, for the gear, now we can get a pretty crazy 28 armor class with the Armor of Agility, which we're able to wear because of the Tempest Cleric giving us all armor proficiencies. There's also a Stealthy Armor and gives us better saving throws. I also went with the Hood of the Weave for better spell attack rolls. Now, if you wanted to early game, you can go with the Helmet of Arcane Acuity and use Shillelagh to build up the stacks and then spellcast with it. And we also got ourselves the Cloak Protection early game as well. If you wanted an early game weapon or armor, just go with whatever type of robes that you can got. Personally, that's going to be one of the best choices for clothing until we add in the Cleric. Or you could add in the Tempest at one level to give yourself heavy armor proficiency. Let's get ourselves the Gloves of the Belligerent Skies here, which stacks Reverberation whenever you deal thunder, lightning, or radiant damage, which is a lot of the spells that we do. And we also get ourselves Evasive Shoes for better armor class. The Snowburst Ring, whenever you do Cone of Cold, it'll create ice surfaces around the enemy so they slip and fall. Amulet of Greater Health, which will give us 223 health, and the Ring of Protection for a +1 to armor class and saving throws. Now, I put on the Staff of Spell Power first here because this gives us the Arcane Battery, so we can free cast our planar ally and bring in our Genie. I recommend the Genie. The Diva and the Cambion are nice too, but the planar ally Genie is just super effective because it can give us the it gives us the ability to push enemies away, and it can teleport. So it can teleport to an advantageous position and do its pushback to knock enemies out of the battle. Now, you also got the Sylvan Scimitar. That's one of her weapons that she starts with, which uses spellcasting modifier. If we really want to maximize damage, we would go with like the Markoheshkir staff, because with Markoheshkir, you can use a few different other crazy things, and it's the only way that we can get ourselves the Chain Lightning spell. Now, if we use this, it also gives us another Arcane Battery, so we can use that to summon in a Conjure Elemental, and we're going to go with the Water Elemental, because it can set up our Cold and Lightning damage, which is the best 2 damage types in the game because of that, so that's really nice. Then we also got ourselves the Conjure Minor Elementals to bring in our Ice Mephits, so we can pop those down, and these are just 2 extra summons that we got. We also have our Draconic Ancestor, which we can summon in, and we also have the Woodland Being. Now, the Woodland Being is awesome because when you summon the Woodland Being in, it also can summon in someone. So it has the Woodwode summon, so that gives us a lot of different summons. So we'll pop all those in there, and we'll just get right into a combat encounter so you can see what to do when you're playing this. Now, there's a lot of really powerful spells that we got here, so I'll show you how to make the most out of using this kit. We also got ourselves Natural Recovery, which lets us replenish our spell slots, so that's also pretty nice because this can just give us another spell. So we got our free casting of the Ice Mephits, and then we have the Draconic Spirit here, which we can summon in as well. So we'll summon this in wherever we got the space. Boom, and then we'll get ourselves into a combat encounter. Now, I also use the Kreska's Favor to give ourselves that free lightning, and this will give us lightning charges, which is actually really nice because this can also trigger our reverberation stacks. And we'll just go with a lightning bolt here to get combat started, and we'll use the Destructive Wrath to ensure that we do mock. We don't know if it's worth it right now. I'll just do it anyways. 54 damage on them all. That hits really hard, and it also pushes some of them back, so that was pretty big. We don't have Call the Weak with Jaheira, so that is a bit of a weakness of our character. Call the Weak works really well because it just basically takes out most enemies whenever you attack with them. But we got ourselves lightning charges up like crazy, so what we want to do, we got ourselves Shatter, we got ourselves, typically we would have a different type of spell because some of these don't actually get set properly. But whenever you have 2 actions, the best thing to do is do a Tidal Wave to be able to create water for all the enemies. And then on top of that, once you have the water set up, just do a Cone of Cold. However, we don't have that, so we can use the poor man's version of, which is Ice Storm, which will just drop right here. And this will create ice surfaces. It also took out a couple different targets. But the nice thing is we're going to end their turns. And then we also summon in some people behind us, unfortunately. So we also got ourselves a Grasping Vine, which we can summon in. So that's pretty nice too, because this will create difficult terrain too. So we can entangle targets with that. And then you also have the ability to use your spiritual weapon too. So lots of different summons. I'm just going to move myself right here, and we're going to see people slip and fall often. Now, the Water Myrmidon can also set up difficult terrain because it can do this, healing vapors, heal all these targets, and it'll create water on all of them. So these targets didn't take any damage yet, so that's why I went with that, because now they're going to be set up and get wet easily. And then we also got ourselves Spike Growth here, which is really nice. So we can apply this to create some further crowd control. And boom, now it's difficult terrain. So we got a lot of that set up. And then we can move our Woodland Being to another location because it is very weak. So it'll get beat up really fast. Now we got our Lightning Dragon here, so we can use the Lightning Dragon Breath. It's not mobile, so you just want to use it in a range that's going to hit targets that are close to us. Took out one of them, so that was pretty nice. And then it also can disguise itself as a Tressum if you want to roam around with it. It removed our ice surfaces, but that's fine. Now we also got ourselves the Entangle spell, which we can use on some other targets here. So we set that up. Now they're all entangled, and crowd control for the win. We have the Grasping Pull too if we want to pull targets towards us, so we can pull them into our thing there. That didn't work, but that's okay. Now we got the Genie. Now what the Genie does best is it teleports and does some annoying attacks. So I guess we'll use the Shifting Winds, and I'll teleport over to here. So I might not be able to use the pushback and knock them away. No, it's not enough. But sometimes you can get lucky with it. I guess that'll proc an opportunity attack. Sometimes you get lucky with it and you can knock them flying. I'm just going to hit this here. Thunder Wave did a decent bit of damage. We want to try and knock them into the chasm there to be able to get them out of the fight. And then we got ourselves the death bursting ice methods here. So they're nice because you can get them into some places that are a little bit trickier to find. And then with this, you can just make them explode. So I'll see if I can get it into a better spot. No, we can't. So I guess we got Chromatic Orb too that we could throw at targets, 20% hit chance. Oh, that's a little bit higher. We'll go with that one there, 45. It blocked it, of course. And I'll just skip the enemy turn so you can see ourselves. We got another ice method here. So ideally what we would do is fly it into a position where we can use the death burst and just blow it up. So it's going to hit 3 targets. So we'll just explode it. Boom. That did a good bit of damage. But now our ice surfaces has worked in our favor. We made them slip and fall again. So I guess the best strategy now, there's not too many targets over here, but we can drop down our tidal wave here, which is just going to create water on a large group of targets. There's only 3 targets here, but that's fine. And I'm sorry, Genie, he's immune to prone. Uh-oh, I hit my dragon prone too. And then with that, we can get in and do a cone of cold. Unfortunately, I guess the lightning pushed all of them back, so we don't got the best ability to move in there. It's also difficult terrain, so I guess with that, we could just go with another ice storm, which will create ice in a larger area this time. So we'll just blast that down. Boom. And it makes a huge ice surface for us to be able to play around in. And we also got ourselves a spiritual weapon. I would recommend using the Maul, and we'll pop this. Those targets got taken out. I'll pop it right by the dragon because our dragon's almost down. That's going to be able to allow us to bonk enemies, which gives us a pretty good damage option. Now we got the water set up here, so we'll just blast away with this. This may, call more people in. 30 damage on a critical hit, pretty nice. Yeah, that called in more guards, so we got to fight more guards now. But we also got our Woodland Being, which can then again create the crowd control there, so we'll pop that down. And Spike Growth will deal damage, but also crowd control them, so that's perfect. We also got this fella here, which we can use to root these enemies, so we'll root them again. Entanglement is just really powerful. And then our Genie here, I guess we can try and get him into this position here. I think this is going to be the most likely to push them off the edge. The Genie is just a specialist for trying to cause chaos. Unfortunately, we can't get the pushback off the ledge, but we can definitely try. So we'll push it towards there. It didn't get pushed around, that's fine. Then we got our ice method, which is about to go down, so we'll just use it to explode here and hit multiple targets. That was pretty good. A few of them saved on that, but that is fine. We got attack, but we have 28 armor class. We're not getting hit, and yeah, we're pretty strong. Now we're surrounded here. Now I think the best thing that we could do is we do a nice little create water into a cone of cold. So create water can be a small single level spell, which is nice because then you can blast with that. We do have haste applied, so that's where we're able to do that from. But yeah, I can hit both of them with cone of cold. Perfect. And it knocked me out too. Use Nair's boots if you can, because that'll prevent that from happening. But I guess the best next step to do is getting our... Oh, I didn't mean to do that there. Crap. I meant to hit it so that those will get applied with water, because the Myrmidon's there just to set up your double damage for you as well. But we have water surfaces in a large area, so that's perfect. But yeah, we got knocked prone. Not ideal. That's what Misty Step is there for. And we got our Genie here, so we'll fly him back and then use his Misty Step to be able to get a little closer. And the Genie's just going to be their pushback master. So I guess we could do the Sweet Plum. I guess that works. I guess we don't have the movement speed forward. My bad. And we could also, I guess, use Thunder Wave to push Jaheira a little closer. Drunken Inhale. Yeah, we don't got any real options for attacks, unfortunately. We also got this here, so this is nice because then we can also use the Binding attack. We'll just pop it on this one here. Create the Entangles, really useful. We have a lot of summons, which are just soaking up a lot of attacks for us because we still have 223 of our 223 health. We also are blocking pretty much everything, which is crazy. So we're defensive, we're offensive, we got it all. The nice thing about getting your initiative matched up with your Water Myrmidon is you can use it to then go ahead with our healing vapors here, which we now hit every single enemy with Create Water. And then with that, we got ourselves Jaheira here, who can Misty Step her way into the fray. I guess we'll see where we go without having to move ourselves. And yeah, I guess we'll just blast ourselves there. And then what we got is our Cone of Cold to actually hit multiple targets. Now, I guess we can also shift our... Oh, I did not mean to hit my... Yeah, that was not ideal. That happens. But we also got ourselves Chain Lightning, which I was saving from the thing. And we can do 174 guaranteed damage. That just obliterated everyone that was fighting there. That's pretty crazy. That was a very powerful turn. So, really nice. Then we got ourselves the Woodland here, which we can then entangle again. And then... I guess that was not wise to run away. That's fine. And the Genie, which I guess we would want to try and push it back, but we'll just go ahead here and get it with this attack and see what this does. It knocked them into the ice. Perfect. And broke their concentration. Perfect. So they're ensnared there and also stuck on ice. So they can't do much. She just put her concentration back up. But then we can go ahead with our Hammer Bonk and potentially daze them. Usually misses. It's just there for grabbing aggro. And then for our final spell, I guess we can drop, let's go with an Ice Storm here. Ice Storm is usually pretty strong. It broke their concentration, create ice surface. They have 1 health point left. So I guess just to toss the Ice Knife at them to finish them off. There it is. Boom. So there's the most OP level 20 Jaheira build in Baldur's Gate 3. Very strong, as you can see. The Tempest cleric goes perfectly with the Land Druid, because Land Druid gets some pretty fun spells. We didn't even have to use our Wild Shape. We got Create Water to set up our lightning and cold damage. We got very powerful lightning attacks, but we also got Cone of Cold, and the Snowburst Ring allows us to just create a bunch of ice surfaces. So you can see we can create a lot of difficult terrain with this, and yeah, it spreads very far. So that is a very powerful level 20 Jaheira build in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know what you want to see next in Baldur's Gate 3. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.